Welcome on YouTube and Ground community to another of my endgame build highlights. Today we're gonna talk about the two-handed cold Alkamos Scythe Blademaster. This build uses the Alkamos Scythe to convert all of the acid as well as 50% of the physical damage to cold globally as long as you use Menhir's Bulwark. On top of that, the weapon has bonuses to Ring of Steel as well as Blitz, so we're trying to combine it with the Thorn's Amulet, which on the past patch now has -1 second recharge to both Blitz as well as Ring of Steel. The weapon is obviously very flexible, since you can use a couple of different ideas with us, like Hugo's Hunger Relic. As a filler you can do Cold Cadence, you could use, well, the ability from the Winter King helmet as well. On my build I just tried to get the most out of the Blitz ability itself, which didn't quite turn out to be enough damage to carry a build like this, to be honest. I mean, I do have Emerald's Blade Burst, Shadow Strike, Ring of Steel, Blitz as damage abilities, with Blitz being the main damage, but I feel like the build should be better with a filler in between, like either Cold Cadence, for which you will need a cold damage prefix on the weapon which will convert the remaining physical to cold, or the Winter King's Might ability. Alternatively, you could also use the Scourge Relic with the Scourge Strike as additional, like, well, burst damage ability in between, or use the Voracious Reach Spin to Win ability from the Hugo's Hunger Relic. Either way, the build is very fun to play and is very mobile, with the Blitz, the Shadow Strike from the Nightblade, or the Blitz resets as well, and then also, well, the third movement ability from your metal. So it is a super mobile build, that's for sure. Damage, as I said, like, could be better and should be better with Winter King's Might, for example, or with the Cold Cadence. But yeah, overall it's very much a lot of fun, and let's check out the skill point allocation first of all. So for the skills, in the Soldier tree we have 1 point to Fighting Spirit, 1 point to Menhir's Will, 10 points to Military Conditioning, and then of course our main ability Blitz is maxed out to 26 out of 16 points, and then 16 out of 12 points to Blindside as well to, well, get some more damage on this. The Eternal Trauma will be basically converted to Frostburn damage, and this also reduces enemy DA by 310 whenever they get hit for 4 seconds. 18 out of 12 points to Field Command, right, for OA, DA and Armor. Only at 1 point of the Squad Tactics. If you're using a filler like Cadence or Winter King's Might, then do consider putting this up to 12 points, right, for more attack / casting speed. Then 1 point to Decorated Soldier only for like some Early Rest and Slow Rest, as well as 7 points into Scars of Battle for Bleed Rest, Stun Rest, Freeze Rest and Armor Absorption. Then 12 points out of 12 in Menhir's Bulwark for 50% damage absorption, flat physical damage which will be converted to flat cold as well on the Blitz at least, as well as a couple of other things which, well, I mean, the main reason why you use this is because of the weapon, right, which makes you convert acid as well as physical damage globally as long as you use this, so you have to play this one anyway. In the Nightblade tree we have basically only 1 point to Emerald's Blade Burst, giving us 11 points here, 22 points to Lethal Assault, giving us flat cold and flat acid. Note, flat acid will become flat cold as well, so Lethal Assault, maxing out Lethal Assault is really great in a build like this. 16 points Shadow Strike, because up to 16 points you do get lots of percent weapon damage still on this Shadow Strike, so that is pretty good damage with a good two-hander like the Alkamos Scythe, as well as some additional flat cold damage on this one as well. 1 point to Nidalla's Justifiable Lance to, like, lower the cooldown reduction, I mean the cooldown of Shadow Strike, and also flat poison damage which will be converted to Frostburn damage. 1 point Nightfall, well, just there to also, like, well, proc stuff better from Devotions. And yeah, like some more damage, cold damage, frostburn damage, whatever. 1 point Ring of Steel actually only, even though the weapon as well as the amulet support Ring of Steel by quite a lot. I still think that Ring of Steel is most of the time not really worth maxing out, like if you compare the cooldown and the damage of Ring of Steel to Shadow Strike, right? Shadow Strike has like slightly higher cooldown, but it's like way more single target damage than Ring of Steel, even with all the mods that we have on this build. So yeah, I still only went for 1 point on Ring of Steel, and then I also a 1 pointer only to Circle of Slaughter for that crit damage and fumble to Ring of Steel. And of course you also want to convert the Pierce damage on Ring of Steel to cold damage with Ring of Frost, because you are not doing that with the weapon yet. 1 point to Blade Spirits, just to, like, proc Elemental Storm. 12 points out of 12 to Planet Burst, right? 12 points out of 12 to Shadow Dance for OA and total speed here, and as well as the heal, and for DA and dodge on Shadow Dance, and then 1 point to Elemental Awakening for some more, like, flat Frostburn, percent elemental, percent Frostburn damage, and percent elemental resistances. 10 out of 10 points Veil of Shadow, as well as 13 out of 10 points Night's Chill for that cold resistance reduction. We are very low on cold RR, honestly. Like, Soldier doesn't have any, Nightblade only has this one. So yeah, we need to max out the one ability that we have fall resistance reduction. Next 12 out of 12 points of Phantasmal Armor. Flat Armor, Pierce Rust, Freeze Rust, Petrify Rust, Energy Absorb. This is really great, especially on Hardcore and any kind of Nightblade. So yeah, I really like putting up to 12 points here. 1 point Anatomy of Murder. Even if you're not scaling Wit or Bleed or Cunning or Pierce damage, right? It's still like worth it to put 1 point here, right? Like 10% Cunning for 1 point, as was like multiplicative damage to humans are still always worth it to take. Really good. Actually only a 1 point to the Blade Barrier. But yeah, since you have so many bonuses to Blade Barrier, actually up to 8 points here, this is not that bad. I mean, the ability itself is not really great, but I feel like on a build like this that is rather focused around cooldowns, you sometimes could use this if you're like, you know, in a bad spot and you have no proper like burst damage up. Then you can use Blade Barrier, right? Because, yeah, you might find yourself in a spot where you can't last here properly because you're not spamming another ability, then, yeah. If you're playing a filler like Cadence or Winter King's Might, then you probably don't need this at all. 1 point to Mercy's Repertoire, well, just for some, like, % cold and frostburn damage. Let's move on to the Devotions. For Devotions, I'm actually running Ugol as well as Leviathan as my tier 3 devotions of choice here. Leviathan's cooldown is actually 1.9 seconds, and the cooldown of my Ring of Steel is exactly 1.9 seconds as well on this kind of build, so they have the perfect match here, also 100% chance to attack. So every single Ring of Steel that I use will proc a Whirlpool, like guaranteed, so that's great, right? That is really nice synergy. Also lots of flat cold, % cold damage on this node over here, and then like some Fizurus, and so on and so on. Like these nodes are not that bad on Leviathan, actually. It's a pretty decent devotion. The only problem with this is that it needs 13 purple to get to, and that can be quite expensive, right? Which means I had to skip Amatok even though I have the affinity for it, right? You can see I could take it if I had like 4 more points, but I don't really am able to take it because there is like no way for me to take it at all, actually. Because I do need to take the mandatory devotions like Rumor and Elemental Storm, right? These are both mandatory for cold, since I don't have another source of flat resistance reduction. The Soldier Warcry 1 is only 18, this is 32, this is way higher than that one from Warcry, right? And Rumor, like, you cannot ever skip this. So yeah, you're forced to take these two, right? Then you want Ugol because you also convert the asset to cold globally, and well, you want the damage reduction on this one as well. Otherwise you have to use Warcry. I mean, you could use Warcry, but I feel like if you have like this Scythe, then Ugol is just the perfect fit, right? You kind of want to use Ugol at all costs here. Yeah, then you can either go for Leviathan or you go for Amatok and some other stuff. Other than that, of course, you always need Kraken and Viper as well, right? Viper for the, well, RR and OA, like it's insane anyway, right? Affinity. As long as you use % weapon damage, Viper is really good on any kind of like elemental build. And Kraken, as long as you're using a two-hander, is also amazingly strong. So yeah, these are kind of mandatory as well. And then you have some fillers like Raven, Quill, Spider, and Toad, which will help you out with affinity as well as, well, some OA, attack speed, last steal here, right? So yeah, that's what these devotions are. Now if we check out the gear, I'm using obviously the Alkamos Scythe, right? I have an Officers of Frostbite. Officers prefix gives me lots of like additional physical damage, which will be converted to cold, at least on Blitz. As well as, well, offensive ability and +5 points to field command. The reason why I like Officers so much is basically because of the +5 to field command. Really good for OA and DA and armor, really great. And then of Frostbite is just like a magic suffix, which like gives me % cold and frostburn damage. This is, I think, fine for a build like this. However, it is not fine if you want to use Cadence, right, as a filler, because then you do need a cold prefix, because otherwise you won't have full physical to cold conversion. And if you want to play Cadence filler, then you need the physical to cold conversion for Cadence itself, as well as for Deadly Momentum. Otherwise, it's like not playable. Then also we have one Man of Eternal Haunt, right, for cold RR. We have one Ring of Morgoneth for +2 to Blitz, as well as the, well, Tentacles and good away on it, actually. 100 away on this ring, really nice as well. Then of course the Bloodbearer's Thorn. I don't have the best one. This is a Vigorous of Amaressa's Flurry. It's also not that easy to get a cold, like, affix on this. It's really not that easy because the, like, item itself has, I think, physical and pierce damage, right? So it will have higher affinity towards physical and pierce damage affixes, so getting a cold affix is kind of hard. I got kind of lucky already with the suffix, like it's really good here. But yeah, the main reason why you use this is for the -1 second recharge Ring of Steel and Blitz, and also the crit damage Ring of Steel and Blitz. However, if you don't plan to play around this weapon like I did, right, if you want to play Cadence filler, for example, then it's totally fine to use like another like code amulet, like another legendary code amulet as well, because you won't be needing that recharge during Austin Blitz as badly as this build. And yeah, then it's like totally fine to use another one here. There are also amulets that have resistance reduction, right, to Veil of Shadow, or even on a proc, or an ability, so those are probably better if you, well, choose to spam an ability in between, like Cadence or Winter King's Might. For the helmet, I'm using Ravager's Dreadgaze, right? Of course, if you want to use Winter King's Might, then you play the Crown of the Winter King instead. For the relic, I'm using the Dallas Outbreak right here, because I'm also not using any relic skill, but you could use, as I said earlier, right, Scourge Strike is pretty nice, as well as the Yugo's Hunger. All the acid damage on Yugo's Hunger or the Voracious Reach would be converted to cold damage as well, since that is, well, globally converted through the weapon. For the belt, I'm using a Gargoyle's Waistguard. I was using a Thunderstruck of Attack. This one will not give me cold damage, but it will give me stun rest as well as OA. A lot of OA actually, and that is like one of the reasons why I was able to fix my way on this kind of build actually. Dread Whisper leggings for lethal assault bonuses basically, as well as 6% Physicus and 6% melee dodge. Really nice cold pair of pants as well for a build like this. Frost Dread Cuirass chest. I mean, Frost Dread Presence gives you a lot of cold damage actually, as you can see, and also like health, DA, flat cold damage. It's really like a very, very good offensive chest if you are playing a cold melee character. For the shoulders, we're using a Stonehide of Readiness Xantaran shoulder guard, which gives me another like 6% armor, plus 3 lethal assault, OA, DA, and like fixes a bunch of resistances here as well. I mean, if you have Formidable Prefix, obviously Formidable Prefix is really, really great as well, right? It has more physical resistance than this one. Then we have Mythical Ice-Scorn Talons, right? Plus 2 to lethal assault, as well as attack speed, flat frostburn, percent cold, percent frostburn. Crit damage to ABB, frostburn duration, increased ABB, and whatever. I mean, these gloves are generally good. You don't really need them for ABB, you just want a plus 2 to lethal assault, right? That's lots of like flat cold damage, as well as the percent attack speed. There's also a blue pair of gloves that has like wit to cold conversion as well as attack speed, and that's pretty good as well. However, it doesn't have the plus 2 lethal assault, so I tested those, and in this specific case, the Ice-Scorn Talons still turned out to be better, but the other blue ones, I think Dread Chill Grasp or something like that, they're really, really amazing as well. Morgoneth's Step Boots for plus 2 Shadow Strike as well as Blitz. Really good for my 2 movement abilities, trying to get more damage on the movement abilities, plus 5% physical resistance as well. Mythical Crest of Winter Fortitude is my medal. If I wasn't playing Blitz, I would not use this, right? This is only there for plus 2 to Blitz, cold damage to Blitz. Yeah, if you're not using Blitz, but rather Cadence or something like that as a filler, then you probably don't need this. You are better off using... there's like a green medal that has plus 3, I think, to Deadly Momentum. I think it's like either the Gutworm or the other one. It's like one of the Tyrants, like one of the Tyrants from the Grovels that give you like the green medal, right? With plus 3 to Deadly Momentum. That one is way better than this, if you are playing Cadence at least. But yeah, that's actually got buffed as well, right? It has 1000 HP now, or like up to 1000 HP, or even more. 4% attack speed as well. So this is a lot better than it used to be. Like, this used to be a complete garbage medal, right? It was so bad. But now it's somewhat decent. It's actually playable, I think. It's not like super amazing still, I feel like, but it's playable at least. For components, I mean, obviously, like, use whatever you need to fix resistances, right? Check out your resistances, and then, like, put components accordingly. Ideally, you always want Blooded Crystals in your rings, right? And maybe also your metal, but I needed some more stun rest. Seal of Annihilation on your amulet, and also, like, Triple Wraith's Scream here for wit damage and OA, like, percent cold and flat wit and OA. There are flat cold augments, but they kind of suck, and if you have, like, wit to cold conversion, like, for example, from the belt, my conversion roll sucks, but if you have a better conversion roll here, and maybe you're also using gloves with wit to cold conversion, then, well, these become a lot better than they already are. And for the weapon, you always want to use Mammoth's Redemption. I mean, you can't see it because of my cam, right? That's in the way. 25 flat cold, Aetherus, and armor. Really, really nice as well. And yeah, I mean, for defenses, physical resistance is kind of low, right? 23% is kind of low. And for attributes, 103 physique, 0 cunning, 4 spirit to get to that, like 400 spirit for the rings, as well as 3.1k armor. This is actually decent somewhat, and like I have too much DA, I know. Crucible speedrunners are gonna hate me for like having this high DA, right? But honestly, I couldn't even fix it. Like it's just that high. Like what can I do? OA 3k is still good enough, right? With Blitz like 300, DA shred and Blitz, so we have like, I don't know, 3.3k DA effectively, I mean effective away all the time. So yeah, I mean the numbers look good. The only problem is that without a proper filler like the Victor's King's Might or Cadence, the sustained DPS is not that high. Burst damage is really good on Blitz though, unless it fumbles, right? It can actually fumble, that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, unless it fumbles, the damage is really good, the burst damage is really good. So yeah, let me show you a quick dummy kill time here to show you how bad the sustained damage really is without a Winter King's Might. Helmet, for example, as a filler. And then I'm gonna roll some other clips from like endgame stuff that I did, and yeah, hope you enjoy. Pretty sure this should be around like 30 seconds or something like that. Also, what I really don't like that much still is the randomness of the reset of Blitz, right? Like, why doesn't the weapon just give you like flat CDR to Blitz? It would be like so much better. Because the randomness of the reset is like, I don't know. I personally don't like it that much because it's RNG and like everything that's RNG and hardcore is kind of scuffed in my opinion. Yeah, like 26, 27 seconds kill time, right? It gets a lot better with like Winter King's Might. You can like, I think, bring it down to like 20 seconds or maybe even lower with Cadence probably. If you have like a full Cadence setup, like code prefix as well, then it should be like below 20 seconds as well. Which is not bad, right? It's totally fine. It's totally fine. And it's a fun build. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. That was actually perfect timing with the music, right? Wow. Is he gonna really initiate with projectiles? Wow, dude. What is that bullshit? Hey, Visage, nice. That's pretty good. Alright, let's try this guy, the Ravager, right? The Ravager. Let's just use all the bots here, right? All the bots. 20k HP pretty much. This is a Ravager Flush, right? I'm expecting to be able to face tank stage 1, but not stage 2. Yeah, it's pretty much looking like it's gonna be exactly like that. Like, it's gonna drop me quite a bit whenever I have, like... yeah, the eye debuff on me, for example. Yeah, I didn't use my blade very quick enough there. Maybe his will, rather. Actually, still procced. That's kind of bad. Also, Ravagers. Oh yeah, Flash has energy leech, right? You actually can notice that. Oh, it's pretty fucking bad on this build. I might wanna get like an Arcane Spark for this fight maybe. Oh my god, dude. Okay, stage 2 anyway. For now we don't fight whenever the eye is up, right? Whenever he has his eye debuff on me, I'm just not gonna face tank. And then we should be fine, I think. Hopefully. Copium. Hopefully. And eye down. Holy fuck, he hurts there. Yeah, never mind. We just have to not get hit, right? And use the blade barrier properly. Otherwise it's gonna be really sketchy. Yep. Why not put any music, dude? This is wonka. Not blade barrier, that's shot, right? Jump out. But he doesn't have the eye up. Maybe I should just face tank now, right? Why am I not healing, dude? Fuck. Okay, eyes up anyway. Let's just kite again, right? Kite. Or rather just run away, not even kiting, right? Just running away, honestly. Eye debuff, yep, holy fuck. I shouldn't even have blade barrier there in the first place, like why did I even do that? Okay. Oof. That was actually kinda close. I think he didn't hit me there though. It's not the best barrier, honestly. It might be fine. Eye. Let's just run from the eye, right? Let's just run from the eye. Yeah, that's not a good kill, dude. You have to run too much. Alright, the first rush is not good on this build, that's like the big problem here, so... Yeah, I mean you can obviously kill them, right? On a build like this, but... Yeah, eye up. Well, maybe blade bearing, just run, right? Just run like this. Eyes down. We could face tank again, maybe. For a bit, but I don't like this situation here. Like, I don't like the stairs there, right? Like, fuck stairs, dude. Yep. Face tank, yep. Eye up, holy shit. Don't face tank the eye, right? I mean, you could like do blitzes in between, right? If you're like good at kiting, better than me, then you can like... I'm not doing it that well though. Yeah, not really. Then you could even like attack a bit during the eye, right? Like during the eye debuff, but it's risky, I don't know. I don't want to do it. Alright, there he is down. That's like a 6-minute kill. I mean, considering how much I ran around in circles, it's not that bad, right? But, I mean, oh well. I've seen better as well. Anyway, thank you so much everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build. Make sure to check out the SR 65 to 66 run video down below, as well as the Crucible 150 to 170 Gladiator video as well, and I hope to see you around on the next video. And also thank you so much everybody for all your support on Twitch, YouTube, Patreon. Make sure to like and subscribe, right, as always, and yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you for watching.